Back to my English learning YouTube channel. Today I will discuss a new topic of English grammar, that is degrees of comparison. Okay, so everybody knows there are three degrees of comparison. They are positive degree, comparative degree and superlative degree. So what is a positive degree? Actually the changes of degree takes place in adjective or in adverb. Okay, changes of degrees mean, that means changes of degree mean comparison. When there is no comparison, then it is called positive degree, and if the comparison takes place between the two, then it is called comparative degree. Again, if the comparison takes place among more than two, then this is called superlative degree. So in this way there are three degrees of comparisons. Okay, there are three degrees of comparison by name positive degree. Okay, positive degree. Positive degree means it does not compare. Okay, it does not compare. Without any comparison, it indicates the degrees of adjectives, whether it is tall, strong, good, bad, like, all these adjectives are in its positive degree. So it does not compare. Now I may write an example here, like this is a tall tree. Okay, this is a tall tree. So here tall is an adjective. The form of adjective is changed into comparative and superlative degree. So here tall is an adjective, and the changes of degree will take place only in case of adjectives and adverbs. Okay, this is a tall tree. Here tall is an adjective, and it has not compared to anyone, or it does not have shown, it has not shown any comparison. So this degree is known as positive degree. Again, number two, it is comparative degree. Okay, the name itself tells that it compares. That is why it is called comparative degree, and that is why we have to write it compares between two only. Okay, two persons, two things, two qualities, all like this. Okay, it compares between two only. It compares between two only. That means two only means two persons, two qualities, two objects, etc. Again, now we can write this sentence by using taller. When we use taller, then it will be a comparative degree, and in comparative degree we always use than, THM. To make comparison we always use than, THM. So we may now write this is a tall tree, instead of we may write this tree is taller than that tree. So when we compare the tallness of two trees, then we have to write taller. That means we have to write the comparative degree of tall, and it will be taller. All of us know that in monosyllabic word we use ER and EST in comparative and superlative degrees. Okay, so this tree is taller than that tree. This tree is taller than that tree. Okay, this tree is taller than that tree. So this will be a sentence of comparative degree, because you see it here we have used taller, and it is the comparative degree of tall, and the comparison of the tallness has taken place here between two trees. That means this tree and that tree. Okay, that is why this comparison is known as comparative degree, and comparison is limited between two only. Okay. Now number 3, we get superlative degree. So the name itself indicates that it compares among more than many. Among more than two. So superlative degree, and the name itself is its identity. That means it compares among more than two, among more than two. So here we have compared between two trees, but when we have to write a sentence of superlative degree using this word tall and the comparison among trees, then we have to write tallest, and that comparison will now take place among more than two. So there must be more than two trees, then this comparison will take place. That is why we may write this is the tallest tree. This is the tallest tree. This means there are many trees or more than two trees, and so which one is the tallest? To indicate this, we only use the superlative degree. So there are more than two trees. That is why we have to write tallest. And one tree is tall, another is taller, and the third tree, that means third or more, there are maybe some more trees, then among them one is the tallest. So the comparison always takes place among more than two. That is why we may write this is the tallest tree. This is the tallest tree. So here we may note a difference between the use of the word tall, taller and tallest. Here this tall does not indicate any comparison, but here this taller indicates comparison between the two. And again, taller always takes, or the comparative degree always takes than with it. Okay, this is a rule. Again, here tallest has taken the before it, and this is also another rule, that before the superlative degree we must use the article always. We must always use the article before the superlative degree. That is why we have written this is the tallest tree. Okay, now we will explain or we will discuss this topic of degrees of comparison by mentioning so many examples, so that our conception regarding the comparison of degrees become vivid and clear, because this is a very important chapter of English grammar. Okay, so we have already got 3 degrees of comparison. Number 1, positive degree, it does not compare. Again, number 2, comparative degree, it compares between two only, and its comparison is limited between two. Okay, now number 3, superlative degree, it compares among more than two. Must be more than two things, two persons or two qualities. Then only then the superlative degree will be used. And again, we have got two different things here. Comparative degree always takes then after it. Okay, and superlative degree always takes the article before it. So far as I have discussed, I hope your conception is very clear, and already that means you have already understood, because I have already told you everything in a very lucid manner. Okay, now we have to practice more and more sentences for changing from positive to comparative and comparative to superlative, vice versa. Okay, now I will write here some sentences which will be converted, or which may be converted into comparative and or comparative and positive only. Okay, because the comparison will be limited between two. Like I may write Shillong is colder than Guwahati. Shillong is colder than Guwahati. So here we have mentioned only the name of two places. One is Shillong and another is Guwahati. So, and again here we have used colder. So this is a comparative degree, and then has also come. That is why this is a sentence of comparative degree, and we can. So I am writing here CD, comparative degree. So we can change it into positive only, but not in the superlative, because a superlative degree must needs more than two objects or things. Okay. So if we want to change into positive degree, then we have to change the place of the subject. Now the subject here is Shillong, and if we want to change it into positive, then we must bring Guwahati at the beginning of the sentence. So Guwahati. So when we write it in its positive degree, it becomes automatically in negative form. Okay, it becomes automatically negative. Like we have to write Guwahati is not. We have to use cold. So when we use cold, that means it is the positive degree of colder. Then we have to write as before and after the adjective. Before and after we have to use as. Okay. So Guwahati is not. Shillong is colder than Guwahati. So Guwahati is not as cold as Shillong. The change has already been done into positive degree, but the meaning has remained the same. Okay, that means Shillong is colder than Guwahati. It is true, and though we have changed it into positive degree by writing Guwahati is not as cold as Shillong, already the meaning is the same. Guwahati is colder than Shillong is colder than Guwahati. Now we can change so many sentences, thousands of sentences, from positive to comparative to superlative, etc., etc. Okay, so these are the simple rules which English grammar allows. Okay, for changing the degrees of comparison. Now I am going to tell one thing for your remembrance, that you should see that when we add ER and EST to make comparative and superlative degree. So we have to say when the word is very small and only monosyllabic word, that means the word having only one syllable or maybe of two syllables, then we make them comparative and superlative by adding ER and EST after the adjective only. Okay, so now we can write, you see, cold, colder, coldest. Then tall, taller, tallest. Now we can write big, and it will be big is a very small word and having only one syllable. That is why it will be bigger, and in superlative it will be biggest. Okay, so all the small words which contain only one syllable or more than one, that means not more than two, then these words become comparative and superlative with the ER and EST after them. Okay, now we may write so many comparative or superlative degrees, forms of superlative degrees of such words. So now we can write small, it will be smaller, smallest. Okay, then tall, taller, tallest. We may write short, it is short, so it will be shorter, shorter and shortest. So these will be the comparative and superlative degree of these small words. So very simple to remember, and just we have to remember in this way, and everything will be very easy to convert the sentences from positive, comparative or superlative. Okay, so but there are some other words which have their own forms. That means they are always irregular. They are always irregular, and they do not obey any or abide by any rules. Like you can write good. For good, you have to write. You can never write good or goodest, but you have to write better. Okay, better and best. Like this, it will be well, good, well, same form, well, better, best. Okay, then you may write bad. It never becomes better, baddest. It becomes bad, worse and worst. Okay, again you may write little. It becomes little, less, least. These are the independent form of these words, and they do not obey or abide by the rules that er should come or es should come to make them comparative and superlative. Little, less, least. So there may be many or much. For many and much, we have to write more and most. More and most. So these are some words or these are some adjectives which have their independent form of comparative and superlative degree, and these words never abide by any rule. That is why we have to get by heart these forms, these comparative and superlative forms of these words. Okay, so discussion will be going on regarding the change degrees of comparison. I have just started this topic today, and in my next videos I will discuss everything elaborately. So thank you for watching my videos. Thanks to you all. This is all for today.